Om Tat Sat. Good evening and namaste to all. Let us continue with our stories in the animal world. Animals in the lives of eminent personalities. Shri Krishna, who gave us the Gita, his childhood and boyhood was spent among animals, especially the cows. He was a cowherd boy, used to take the cattle into the forests, allow them to graze for the whole day, and bring them back to Gokul, Vrindavan. All the cowherd boys would accompany him into the forests. Due to his intelligence, quick wit, sharp wit, he was the natural leader of the cowherd group. Even boys elder to him would listen to him. That was the special personality, Sri Krishna. Not only the boys, even the whole of Gokul elders, they would listen to him. When he said, "Let us worship Govardhan hillock and put off the worship of Indra," as this Govardhan his hill is directly useful to us. It helps us in so many ways, in providing us with waters, in providing grazing fields for the cows. So let us worship this. And the whole of all the elders obeyed, listened to him, and worshipped Govardhan Puja. The Gokul Vrindavan earned the wrath of Indra, the god Indra, but Sri Krishna protected the village, all the people, by lifting the Govardhan hill and making a shelter for the whole population. Similarly, the most significant incident in his life in Gokul Vrindavan was what is famously known as Kaliya Nartanam, dance on the hooves of serpent Kaliya. Yamuna is the river which flows along Gokul Vrindavan. All the women folk would take their daily consumed water from the river Yamuna. All the cattle would drink from Yamuna. It was a source, and the village was blessed with the flowing Yamuna. So villagers, Gokul Vrindavan, the people, they all had a special place for Yamuna. They were devoted to the river Yamuna. Now, one serpent by name Kaliya, he came and started residing in Yamuna waters near Gokul Vrindavan. He came with his family, with his wives and all children. Normally, snakes and serpents, they are not aggressive. They don't attack anyone. They just go, move in their own private paths without disturbing anyone, without attacking anyone, and only if they feel threatened, if they feel they are being harmed by someone, they would attack. Even if they enter houses, our houses, they would just tread the path close to the wall. They won't enter the middle of the rooms. They'll just hide themselves. They won't like to cause any harm to anyone else. But when they feel threatened, they attack. That is the normal nature of snakes. But this serpent, Kaliya, was a rogue serpent. It occupied the Yamuna waters and it started threatening the lives which would come for fetching waters, the women folk and the cows and other lives. So it was a roguish serpent. The people were afraid of going for Yamuna waters. They were afraid of going near the banks of Yamuna, where previously they loved and they were devoted to Yamuna. They had idolized Yamuna and had been praying for the goddess Yamuna. But after this arrival of this serpent, they avoided going near Yamuna, the river Yamuna. Shri Krishna has a special trait. He would take any problem head on, even if the problem is not connected with himself. He would take the challenge on his shoulders and try to solve the problem. This trait of him has shown path for humanity on many occasions, how to deal with situations. The Bhagavad Gita, which has been guiding humanity even 5,000 years after the war, is a beautiful example of this trait of Sri Krishna. He would leave a mark which would guide the whole humanity. Now this serpent in Yamuna was a challenge. The whole village had avoided going to Yamuna. The boy Krishna would not do so. So he called all the cowherd boys and asked them to bring their own tiffin boxes the next day. He said, let us have a picnic on the banks of Yamuna. They brought their cows, allowed them to graze, and they all started with their picnic. Krishna had designed a special game, a ball game, where a ball of clothes was made and everyone had to pick the ball and hit it on the back of others. Anyone whose back is touched by the ball, hit by the ball, is out of game. He'll be out of game. So everyone had to avoid the ball, stop the ball with his fist. That was the game. And they played with all energy and enthusiasm, with roars of shouts and laughter. When Sri Krishna got the ball once, he just threw it not on the boys, not towards their back, but towards the river Yamuna. And even in modern times, the boys playing with ball, they have an unwritten rule that one who is cause for the ball rolling out to distances will bring the ball himself. So Sri Krishna started chasing the ball. The children just watched, but saw him crossing the ball and going beyond the ball towards Yamuna waters. Then they realized he was on the verge of a danger. They were panic struck. They shouted, Krishna, Krishna, return. The Kaliya is there. But his ears were deaf. He was just firm. He had made up his mind to do a job. He just ran towards Yamuna and jumped into the waters. This huge serpent, he was surprised and he was angry when all the elders had kept away due to his terrorizing attitude. This small boy, how dare he can enter the waters? So he took it as a challenge for himself and his power. And he moved with fiercely towards this small boy. But the Sri Krishna swam like a fish. He was a very small boy. And this serpent had a huge body. So Sri Krishna just swiftly swam from down the waters and swam to the other side. And the serpent had to take a return path, turn his whole body in the opposite direction, and again he ferociously attacked Sri Krishna with all his anger and rage. Again, Krishna waited for him to come near and then swam to the other side. So there was a chase game. But as the serpent it had a huge body and it was also angry and in a fit of rage. So it got exhausted within few moments. Well, it started puffing and panting. Sri Krishna landed on the hoods of this huge snake, serpent. Now, the head is the weak point for any snake. When we press the head, it just cannot do anything. So the hood was under the feet of Sri Krishna. The snake naturally lifted its tail and wanted to wrap Sri Krishna by his rear side of his body. Now when the tail end was lifted, Sri Krishna got hold of the tail end. Now the 2 points of strength, the head and the tail end, both were under the control of Sri Krishna. By this time the children had gone to Gokul and warned the elders about the doings of Sri Krishna. He had drowned into the rivers and fallen prey to the serpent Kaliya. So all the elders came running towards Yamuna. They were all terror struck. But here Sri Krishna was in the middle of river Yamuna with the tail end in his left hand. And when the crowd waved at him with fear, Krishna, Krishna, they were all calling, he just jumped on the hoods. He jumped with joy, waving his own hand. They could not understand whether he was in a grim situation or he was a master of a situation. But they shouted in pain, But Sri Krishna responded with huge energy and enthusiasm. He was jumping, and it was a beautiful dance of a boy on the hoods of a huge serpent. After a few minutes, the serpent, all the poison of the serpent, he had to spit out, and the serpent surrendered to Sri Krishna. Now, Sri Krishna said, "You too have a right over your life. You too have a right to live in comfort with your family and children. So, better move to the seas, the oceans." The serpent said, "Garud will harm me. How can I move safely into the oceans?" Sri Krishna said, "Yes, Garud will attack you, but he'll see my footprints on your hood, and then he'll worship you with both palms together, and he'll return back. He'll not harm you. So, have a blessed life, move to the oceans." Thus, Sri Krishna cleared the Yamuna waters of a roguish, of a terrorist serpent by taking the challenge on himself. When the others had made a treaty with the snake, others started avoiding going near the Yamuna and it wanted to hide the problem under the carpet. No one was ready to take the responsibility. Then this Sri Krishna, as a boy, took the responsibility on his shoulder and got rid of Kaliya. And in a very beautiful way, the Yamuna was ridden with Kaliya. That's all for the day. We'll stop. We'll come again tomorrow with one more story. Om Tat Sat.